so I'm not even sure if I'm gonna make this into a video, but just in case, I thought I would go ahead and film the before shots of our kitchen table. I really want to make our table work because I already have it, and also I haven't been able to find a table that I like any better, but I don't like the color of ours anymore. It's all black and black chairs, and I just felt like it was too dark with everything being white in the kitchen now. It's in balance now. And this is the underside of the leaf of our table. I started out with a leaf. That way if we screw it up, we're not actually messing up the table. We don't use the leaf that often. Tried a couple different things. I've got chalk paint on both sides, but this chalk paint is with one roller and it's leaving like little speckles. This side, I had done half with a brush and half with a different roller, and I ended up loving the other roller that I used. So this is the second coat. So I covered over the brush strokes on this side with the second coat, and then this is the second coat of the roll. And I really like it because I don't really want to see paintbrush marks. I don't mind that in some things, but in this case, I did not want to see paintbrush marks on the tabletop. So I am so far really impressed with the coverage of this. I'm also really impressed with the finish, like the texture, I guess I should say, of using the roller in particular that we're using. That's not leaving like any obvious roll marks, and it's not leaving brush marks, which is exciting. Okay, so all that I've done right now is obviously I brought all the pieces out here now. So this is all the pieces. We detached the 2 pieces of the tabletop from the bottom so it'd be easier to paint, and then turned it upside down. And brought all the chairs out here. I also wood filled as many of the little nicks that I could out of the top. There's still some little like indentations, but like any of the chunks that I found, I filled those in, and then I wiped everything down with white vinegar. I heard that you can do that to help get rid of any oils or residues from cleaners, fingerprints, all that stuff. It may not be necessary, but I went ahead and did it. It couldn't hurt, right? So now I'm going to put the first layer of paint on everything. This is the paint that I'm using. I got it from Amazon. I think you can get it at local places too. It's been beat up a little bit, but it's fine. It's the Rust-Oleum chalked ultra matte paint in linen white. Priming is not required, so I didn't do that. Thinning is not required. In hot, dry conditions, you may thin with up to 2 ounces of water per quart. Avoid painting in direct sunlight or hot surfaces. Let's see, dry and recoat times. Dry to the touch in 30 minutes. Maybe recoated 2 to 4 hours. Probably only going to get 1 coat on it tonight, but I really do want to get at least 1 coat on, and then tomorrow I can put on the second coat. It's probably going to take, I would say, at least 3, maybe even 4, just to make sure that all the black is completely covered. But that's what I'm going to start working on tonight.
Club will go all night. I see you in the back, the mood is right. If I just had your number, I would let you know how I feel. You walk up to me, start dancing to the music, energies like this was meant to be. Take my hand, I feel my heart beat, and I don't want this moment to stop. Time to go home. Don't want this night to end. Yeah, about time we stop pretending. Come home with me. Let's write a history. Tonight I'll make you see. It's all about us. It's all about us. As we're dancing close together, making out. It's all about us. It's all about us. There's some magic in your eyes, can't get enough. Feel your hands, the way you're touching me around my neck. Got chills down my back, you do it right. The way you're holding me, no, I don't want this moment to stop. No need to fight it, I cannot hide it.
It's been about an hour, and I have done the first coat on the 3 tops for the table, and then the table base, and one of the 3 chairs. I just wanted to stop and say that the chairs by far, and understandably so, are the most difficult and the most tedious. It's making it really hard for me to use just a roller and not also a brush, which the brush actually gives better coverage, but it sheds and it's more likely to leave brush strokes, which I don't really want. So I'm trying really hard to use the roller mostly and only using the brush when I have to. So like these little areas here, they might turn out okay. I'm really hoping that what people say about chalk paint and how forgiving it is and how you don't really see a whole lot of different directional marks and things like that, I'm really hoping that's true, because I did have to go quite a few directions on the chairs. Okay, it took me almost 2 hours, surprisingly. I really didn't think it was gonna take that long to get the first coat on everything, just to show you kind of a close-up. Still a lot of streaks, a lot of bleed through of the original color. So I'm gonna put the second coat on now. That'll make it 10 o'clock at night before I get done, but I really wanted to try to get at least 2 coats on today, just to see, kind of get an idea maybe how many coats it's gonna take. I'm hoping I'll be able to tell more after the second coat, but this is where we're at right now. All the chairs and all the pieces of the table have been done with 1 coat. Okay, so it's been about a week. I've got 4 coats on the table and 3 on the chairs. Don't ask me why they seemed like they were okay after 3 coats, whereas the table seemed like it needed 4. I don't know. I'm not complaining though, because those chairs were a pain to paint. I've got every light on here I can use because I can't open the garage door because bugs will get in. So now it's time to do the top coat. This is the Rust-Oleum Chalked Protective Top Coat in matte clear. It says it adds protection, enhances color, and is easier to apply than traditional furniture wax. I certainly hope so. One thing I will say about the paint and the top coat is both of them say to use a good synthetic brush. Roller application not recommended. Well, I used a roller on 80% of the stuff because I wanted a more roller consistency and not a brush consistency. I did have to use a brush on quite a bit of the chair, like the X's and stuff and some of the smaller areas. So I really don't know why it matters if you use a roller or a brush. This is the leaf for our table. If you see, it's smaller than the other 2 pieces. We hardly ever use this. This is kind of my guinea pig. So I'm gonna start out rolling it on just to see what happens and why maybe they might recommend to not roll it. But I know it's gonna take several coats probably. So I'm only gonna be able to get 1 coat on today. But that's the plan, is to start out on the leaf and see if it looks like it's doing okay. And if it is, I'll go ahead and do everything else, because I feel like if I have to use a brush, it's pretty much gonna cancel out the fact that I rolled everything else before to try to avoid brush marks. So I don't know, we'll see. But I do have my brush and do have my roller just in case. So I have options, but I'm going to do that next.
A million people in the crowd, but I only see your face in all the lights. And as the bass keep pounding on me, baby, I really wanna make you mine. I don't really care about love. I don't really care about happy ever afters. Something about you gives me hope. Something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side when the sun goes down.
Okay, so it's all finished and I am so happy with how it turned out. It is definitely not perfect, and I obviously can't speak to how well or how long the paint is going to hold up, but I am really impressed with looks-wise how it turned out. There are some flaws, there are some mistakes that I made and things like that, which of course there was going to be, but I think it looks really, really good. It definitely brightens up the whole kitchen, which is why I painted it in the first place. And considering I've never really painted furniture before, except for one little tiny nightstand, I was really excited with how well it turned out. It definitely took me a long time. The most frustrating part was really trying to make sure I got smooth lines, and there was some air bubbling that was happening with the top coat, so I had to be really careful. But if you see the texture right there, that is really the texture that I wanted, kind of an eggshell texture versus a paintbrush texture. So I am ultimately glad that I did decide to roll it. I still don't really know why they say not to roll it, but I think it turned out really great. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. And I hope it inspired you to maybe try to restore something that you already have instead of going out and buying something new. And also make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing my entire kitchen remodel here in the next few weeks, hopefully. We're still working on a few last minute things. The table was one of the last big projects that we had to get done before we could actually finish the kitchen. So make sure you stay tuned for that you have the notification bell turned on and that you're subscribed so you don't miss that when it comes up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.